think, what, you lost 100 pounds? Yeah, I lost 100 pounds in 6 months. I talked to a woman yesterday. She lost 15 pounds in 1 month. She was 70. Because the fat acts as a buffer between you and the toxic things that you're eating.
People do it all the time. Your body becomes tolerant.
Well, I think that the layering of fat on might be part of the tolerance mechanism. I can't believe it. Well,
when I
even
saw you last
Tammy,
night, I was like, you're so slim.
Yeah.
Like your stomach is completely flat. Your skin looks better.
oh, Jesus, Joe, I'm
This
way
is what's
better.
weird.
Yeah, yeah.
You look like more vibrant.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
But see, my point is that you're saying that there is problems with this diet, but that doesn't seem to be a problem with the diet. It seems a problem with deviating from the diet, that your body becomes accustomed with.
Well, one of the hypotheses that we've been pursuing, and there's some justification for this in the scientific literature, is that the reason that you lay on layers of fat is because the fat acts as a buffer between you and the toxic things that you're eating. Because fat is actually an organ. It has functions other than merely the storage of calories. And maybe when you strip out that protective layer, then you're more sensitive to what you shouldn't be eating. This is all speculative hypothesis, right? Or maybe you sensitize yourself by removing it from your constant diet. Well, I don't bloody well know.
Well, I would think it would be much more likely that, because you think about people who are alcoholics, they develop a tolerance to alcohol.
Yeah.
You get off of that, and then you have a drink, and your tolerances are shot, and then you immediately have an adverse reaction to the alcohol.
Yeah.
Same thing with marijuana.
Yeah.
When people do it all the time, your body becomes tolerant.
Well,
of it.
I think that the layering of fat on might be part of the tolerance mechanism. So it's not merely a matter of caloric intake. It's a matter of toxic caloric intake buffered by whatever it is that fat is doing as a neuroendocrine organ. But again, like I said, I'm out of my depth here. But, you know, the whole, everyone's out of their depth. The goddamn food pyramid was made by the Department of Agriculture, not the Department of Health. It wasn't predicated on any scientific studies whatsoever. We shouldn't be eating massive quantities of corn syrup. We eat way too many carbohydrates. Michaela posted a paper the other day. A doctor has successfully treated type 1 diabetes with a carnivore diet. Type 1, not type 2. So that's bloody impressive.
Yeah, it's very curious to me, because you're talking about the one adverse reaction, which is when you deviated from the diet.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is when I read people's accounts of trying this diet, it's almost universally positive.
Yeah, I know. But again, that's the
strength
problem.
gains
Well, it's a problem with
big one.
anecdote, right? I mean,
It
I'm
is,
not just,
sure.
and it's the same with all these stories that I'm collecting as I'm touring. And, you know, lots of people have come up to me and said, look, I lost 45 pounds in the last 3 months. I think, well, it's shocking to me. I think, well, what do you make of that? And say, well, I can't believe it. Well, I couldn't believe it. 50 pounds. It's like, first of all, I didn't know I had 50 pounds to lose. You know, I thought I was maybe 20 pounds heavier than I should have been. Should have been 185, something like that. I guess that's 25 to 30 pounds. That was the maximum. I thought, no, I'm at 162 and I was at 212. So what's that? 50 pounds, yeah.
That's a lot of weight.
Jesus, I had to throw all my clothes away. I can't believe it. Well,
when I
even
saw you
Tammy,
last night, I was like, you're so slim.
Yeah,
like your stomach is completely flat, and this is not.
I'm a lean, mean fighting machine, man.
And you're not an exercise fanatic. It's not like you're starving yourself. It's not like you're
no, and I'm not
running 5 miles
That's
a
another
day.
thing I should say to people. If you want to try a diet like this, you eat enough meat and fat so you're not hungry. Okay, you can't get hungry. You're not eating enough if you're hungry. And if you're hungry, you're going to cheat, and it's going to drive you stark raving mad. The other thing that was really cool is, like, I really liked sweets. Like, I kind of lived on peanut butter sandwiches and chocolate milk. Not really, but that was my go-to food, you know, both of which were terrible for me. But after I stopped eating carbohydrates for a month, the carbohydrate cravings went away. You know, last night when we were out for dinner, somebody ordered bread pudding, and I bloody love bread pudding with caramel and ice cream. And so it was sitting there, and I could smell it, and I thought I could go all fantastic Mr. Fox on that bread pudding and just tear it down in about 15 seconds. But it wasn't as intense as a craving for a cigarette if you're an ex-smoker. It was like, well, it'd be really nice to eat that. But like, my appetite declined by about 75%, and that's been permanent. So there's a perverse thing for you. I eat way less, and now I'm not as hungry. Okay. Well, how does that make sense?
Well, you're not eating way less. You're eating way less things.
Yes.
Because you had a 30-ounce steak last night.
Yes. I'm doing my best not to be hungry.
Although it didn't look like it was 30 ounces.
No. No. It was a small 30-ounce steak.
Well, I think it starts out 30 ounces before they cook it.
Right.
And it loses a considerable amount of volume. It's very fatty.
Right.
But that's the other thing, too. You must have to get a lot of fat.
Yeah. Well, I eat fatty cuts of steak. And
Yeah.
Michaela is buying fat directly from the butcher store, and we cook that up, cut it into small pieces and fry it up till it's crispy.
Wow.
It's actually quite delicious.
You're
It's not
just
bread
buying
pudding with
fat.
ice cream, but it's...
Isn't that funny? You mean,
yeah, I know, it's so ridiculous.
Well, I want your blood profile. I want to find out what's going on with you because